Most people lose money in the stock market because they are trading the wrong stocks. That's why today we are going to build this custom plot and label within ThinkorSwim that shows you a stock's 52-week highs and how far away it is currently trading from it, as well as this 52-week high strategy and scanner returning you stocks trading at 52-week highs. If you stick to trading these types of stocks, I promise you, you will be a better, more consistent trader. So let's hop into it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hop right into creating a new strategy. We are going to build our plot and our label just inside of the strategy itself so that we don't have to build two separate things, make sure we have two separate things turned on. And if you don't want to see the strategy, if you only want to see the plot and the label, I'll show you how you can do that from the settings of this strategy. So let's give ourselves a couple of lines of room here above our add order function, and let's plot that 52-week high. So of course, since we want it plotted on the chart, we are going to declare the variable with the keyword plot, and I'm just going to name it right now H. Just give it a real simple name, H for high. That's just how I go about my naming conventions. You, of course, can call this variable whatever you would like. So our plot, what we would like to show is the highest high, or let's actually do highest close. Let's do closing price out of the last X number of days. Now, there are 252 trading days in a year. So if we type in 252 here, we are going to see the highest closing price of the year for every single year plotted on the chart. Now, we want to look at this value offset by 1 because we want to see when the current bar is breaking above this value. That's going to come into play here in a second in the strategy. But if we don't offset this, of course, the highest close will never be higher than itself. So we don't want to compare it against the current bar. So we offset that by 1 using open bracket, 1 close bracket, and our line of code with a semicolon. Now as I hit OK and hit apply, you are about 3 minutes into this video and you already have a 52-week high plot within your ThinkorSwim chart. Next, let's go ahead and build our label that shows us how far away the current closing price is from our 52-week high plot. So hopping back into my edit studies modal, if I now click on this little scroll here, that is how I reopen my ThinkScript modal, and we're back within our strategy. So here, I'm going to use a look and feel function named add label, and I'll walk you through the parameters this function accepts. The first being condition. When would you like this label to show? For a label like this, we want it to always show, right? We want to always have this label turned on and showing us the current closing price difference from the 52-week high. So if I simply type in yes, that just means whenever the machine checks for the condition, hey, should this be showing? Yes, it should be showing. So it'll always show. Next is the parameter of what actually shows in the label. So this is, of course, where we need to do our percent change calculation. I'm going to use a function here called as%. Basically, all this function is doing is it is making it so we don't have to multiply our number here by 100, and so we don't have to append the percent sign on the end of our number as plain text. This function will do that for us for whatever value ends up being inside of the parentheses here. So inside of the parentheses, we of course need to do our percent change calculation, which is not overly difficult. It is current closing price minus the highest closing price out of the last 252 days, which we have, of course, initialized this value inside of the variable h. So I can simply call in h here, and then we want to divide that value by h itself, by the highest close out of the last year. Then I'm going to go ahead and just so this looks a little bit better, I'm going to do a plus symbol here, and I'm going to open a quotations. I'm going to type in from 52-week highs. This is just it will now append this string of letters onto the end of our labels. You'll see when we get it going here. The third and final parameter accepted by the add label function is color. I'm just going to make mine light gray. So let's do color dot light gray. You must do color dot because color values are stored in the color data type, and dot notation is how the machine knows to look for this light gray value in the color data type. Now we should be able to wrap this up by closing the parentheses of the add label function, ending our line of code with a semicolon. And if we now hit apply, you will see we are negative 1.8% from 52-week highs. I kind of don't like how that reads, like it says we're negative 1% away, because of course that is the value, right? NVIDIA is down 1.8% from its 52-week highs. I just kind of don't like the negative, so I'm going to throw in a negative sign here in front of our percent change calculation, just so that cancels out. You now see the negative symbol has just gone away. I just like the way that reads a little bit better personally. So now we can get to the real fun part and begin to build out this trading strategy, which of course will show buy and sell signals on your chart based off of the conditions that we plug into this add order function. First off, for our entrance, I'm going to change our order type to buy to open rather than buy auto, just so that it knows the condition I'm about to plug in is only for opening positions. It's not for also covering shorts. We're not going to do shorting in this strategy. So I just want the order type to be buy to open. Then we're going to change this no, which is our condition, into what needs to happen in order for a buy to be painted onto the chart. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do current bar closes greater than H. Remember, H is a variable we've already initialized with this value of 52-week highs. And we, of course, want to enter if we close over that value. If that happens, I want to purchase the close of the candle, and I'm going to go ahead and go with $10,000 for right now. You, of course, when doing your own sort of writing your own code here, can put in whatever value you would like, but I'm going to simulate $10,000 positions. So for our position size parameter being parameter number 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, I'm doing 10,000 divided by close, just meaning that the position size that will be taken is however many shares evenly divide into $10,000, right? Now, we need to, of course, add another add order function in. This one is going to be of order type sell to close. Now, the sell that I'm going with right now is when the RSI is less than 40. We're building a continuation strategy. Of course we are. We're buying stocks breaking out of highs. So when building continuation strategies, don't put profit targets on them. I build profit targets on my reversal strategies, and I don't build profit targets on my continuation because I want, when buying strong stocks, the point is that it should keep going, right? So our sell is going to simply be sell when the momentum stops, sell when the stock gets weak. And the easiest way for me to objectify when a stock gets weak is the relative strength index. The RSI indicator does a great job of providing objectivity to either strong or weak stocks. So that's going to be our sell for now, and I want to sell the close of the candle. We don't have to do position size here. By default, whenever there's a sell, it sells the full position inside of ThinkorSwim. So as I now hit apply, you should be seeing these values on your chart. Let me go ahead and get the RSI turned on. Let's change the oversold to 40 just so we can confirm that is working as expected. So now when you get a bar that closes above our 52-week high, remember, compared to the last bar, offset by 1, so that the current bar can close above it. As you'll notice, once you get this bar close above it, our 52-week high line plot moves up, right? Because now the 52-week high is this bar. It is now this bar, right? You'll notice this is always adjusting to whatever the new 52-week high is. So that's where we get in, and we don't sell until the first instance in which the RSI breaks below 40, which happens on this candle and the strategy sells. Now, another thing we can do now, since we have a strategy turned on, we can turn on our floating P&L study, which is a study that comes out of the box within ThinkorSwim, and we can see our profit loss on the strategy. And we can see this on any ticker that we would like to click into. Click into SPY, click into Block, let's go click into Apple. You can change your tickers, you can change your time frames, and this P&L and study and strategy will all update accordingly. If you're interested in these sort of codified studies, strategies, and the scanner, which we're about to create, I have published over 65 of my own on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. There's a link in the description down below. Go check it out. So now we have the study, we have the label, and we have the strategy. Of course, none of that matters if you are unable to find the stocks that are currently aligning with the strategy, right? So building out this custom scanner we're about to build is vitally important. Now, I have a few stock filters that I apply to almost every single one of my scans to kind of keep a lot of the riffraff out, right? I only want to see stocks trading greater than $1. I only want to see stocks that have an existing market cap. You'd be surprised how many stocks are out there with just NA market caps. I don't want to see that crap returned to my scanners, and I want to see a minimum of 50,000 volume traded on the day. You, of course, can add or change these stock filters however you would like to filter out the types of stocks you would like to trade. But the meat and potatoes of this scanner is going to come from a study filter. And if we click into this pencil here and over to the ThinkScript editor, this is where we get our coding area, right? Of course, we want to see stocks where the current close is greater than the highest close out of the last 252 bars, offset by 1. Well, basically, we're just like rebuilding the value that we plugged in for our plot variable on our custom strategy, right? That's what we're doing here. So go ahead and plug that in. If I hit scan, we should now only be seeing stocks where the current bar is closing greater than the highest close out of the last 252 bars. We get EVGO, CCL, and NCLH. Let's take a look at some of these. First off, I have to go back to the daily chart, not the 5-minute. EVGO, definitely doing that. Currently getting a 52-week high breakout. CCL, nice. Currently doing that. Yesterday, actually, got its breakout of highs and entered on the strategy and continuing with a bit of strength this morning. Next, we have NCLH. This one also broke out yesterday, showing a lot of strength. So it seems to be that the scanner is working as expected. However, let's not stop here. I'm going to build out a custom column that shows us the difference of the current closing price from the 52-week high, much like this label here, so that whenever you are running any of your scanners, you can see how far away those results are from their 52-week highs. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on this little cog in our scan header columns here. And if I click on customize, this will bring up your list of available items and, of course, your current header set. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to type in custom in your available items. This is going to show you a whole list of custom, like 1 through 19, I believe it is. Now, I'm a degenerate coder. I have already used every single one of my custom columns, so I'm going to have to overwrite one of these ones that already exist, but that's fine. I'm going to click on this scroll. Notice how the scroll doesn't have a lock like this beta one does. That means that you can change the code within it. So I'm going to click on this scroll of this one, and we're going to go ahead and do our calculation. Now, honestly, don't ask me why, but for some reason, like we use the as percent function on the label, that function doesn't seem to work in custom scan columns. I think maybe because it puts that percent sign on the end, that kind of breaks how it looks in the column. So we're just going to have to do the same calculation, but do our own multiple of 100 rather than calling that as percent function. So of course we want, well, let me go ahead and wrap this with a parenthesis so this happens first. We want to do the close minus the highest close out of the last 252 bars on the daily, being this aggregation here of D. And remember, the way we built this in our strategy is we just called in that H variable. But of course, that H variable is all the way over in that other strategy code. I can't type in H here. The machine would have no idea what that is. Variables can only be called locally to the codes they are called within, right? So right now, close minus the highest high out of the last 252 bars. And then we're going to divide this by, of course, the highest close out of the last 252 bars. And this should give us our, let me actually type, if I do as percent here, let me just see if I didn't break something last time I tried this. How do you spell percent? Does this work? See, it doesn't work. For some reason, when I do as percent, then I can't hit apply. It doesn't even throw any errors either. There's something with that function it doesn't like. So we're going to have to do our own just multiple of 100 here, and it won't have the percent symbol on it, but I guess in this instance, who cares? So let's go ahead and apply an OK, and then I'm going to double click on this column that I just changed from our available items to add it to our current set. As I hit OK, we should now be seeing the difference from the current 52-week high on our current close. Now, almost all of these are at 0 because remember, we're still running the 52-week high scanner. So let's go ahead and get rid of that study scan and let's look at now the results. Here we go. We've got American Airlines showing 23.82% away from its 52-week highs. Go to American Airlines. It is indeed 23.82% away from its 52-week highs. Now, what's the power of this? We can sort by this, right? I'm now looking at the stocks furthest away from their 52-week highs. We got ADTX at 99.7% away from their 52-week highs. Wow. Yeah, not good. This stock is getting hammered from its 52-week highs, right? Definitely. Oh, look, I put a call on this that it's going to be a penny stock in 2 months. That was a couple years ago when I was streaming. Good call, Trey. Then let's look at ALLR just for another example of this. Another stock just getting absolutely creamed, right? Of course, we can sort this scanner the other way. Now, whatever scan we are running, a defect of, it's not necessarily a defect, it's actually part of it, but if you have way too many scan results, you end up getting this custom expression subscription limit exceeded. You're only allowed to run custom columns on so many scans or so many results. Right now we're looking at 2,100 stocks. Let me run one of my other scanners here. Let me load in my where's my PPS buys? Let's run the PPS buy scanner. This hopefully returns few enough stocks that we will be able to sort top down our percent from 52 column. Yep, this one looks to be working as expected. So now, once again, the point of building out this custom column is so now when we run any scanner, we can sort by stocks that are at or near their 52-week highs or really far away from them. So I have KVYO here, trading really light volume, so I don't expect this one to look very good, but is it at 52-week highs? It is indeed at 52-week highs. Oh, this one's actually funny. It just IPO'd in September, so it literally can just start. It just got to the point where it's been a stock for 52 weeks. That's why you see the plot like just starting on this one. That's kind of funny. Next we have is that say NYT or NVT? Yep, NYT. We are trading right at 52-week highs. So once again, the power of this scan column, run any scanner and you can find stocks on that scanner that are very strong. Hey, let's come back to the strategy for a second, because I mentioned earlier in this video that you could change the time frame and your studies and your strategy would auto update. And while that's true, guess what? The plot itself is updating to be the last 252 bars of whatever time frame the bars are set to. So if we're at the 5-minute, it is showing you the highest point out of the last 252 5-minute bars, however long that is. We can fix that though if we want to see 52-week highs and the correct label and study and strategy on our chart of an intraday. What we need to do, we come back into our study here, and what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put at the top of my code here a new type of variable. This variable is going to be one with the input keyword. We're going to name this period, and I'm going to set it equal to aggregation period dot day. if I set it equal to aggregation period dot day, and then we also come down to our close here, look at the highest close. One of the parameters of close is the period. It is the second parameter, and we just want to call that. Since it's the second, we have to explicitly write it out. So I'm going to type in period equals period here. That's actually a little bit confusing. Let me give this a different name. Let me call this ag instead, because period equals period. You shouldn't use the same keywords like that. Period equals ag. So now we are looking at the highest close of the aggregation period dot day, 252 bars. So now as I hit apply, you should notice a major change here on NYT that this has adjusted. Of course, this was one of the stocks trading right at its 52-week highs. Let's go look at AAL. This one was far away, right? Yep. This one is 24% away from its 52-week highs, which are all the way up here at 15.68, which is the same as it was on the daily 15.68. And a really cool thing, since we made this aggregation period an input, now if we come into the cog of our settings here, if I wanted to run this as the 5-minute 252 bars instead, I could simply change the aggregation from our settings of our strategy like that. So that's just another upgrade that we need to make to the strategy if you want to look at something like this within intraday bars, but still the 52-week highs. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like. Please make sure you're subscribed and you're obviously interested in this sort of codified ThinkorSwim stuff. Check out my website, daytradingstrategies.net. Once again, link in the description down below to get access to easily import over 65 of my own custom ThinkorSwim codes. With all that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.